Let's roll, baby. Welcome in. It is the Ringer Sunday pregame with the Wise Guys, rocking and rolling on YouTube as the Week 3 card is staring us right in the face. JJ Jastremski from beautiful Studio 70 in New York City, repping the alma mater. What an ass whooping they gave the Clemson Tigers yesterday. Who needed 17? How about they just go and win outright? Hopefully, we have some monstrous value plays throughout this Week 3 card from the Wise Guys. Let's welcome in Cousin Sal in Los Angeles, Joe Haas in Washington, D.C., Raheem Palmer in Las Vegas. Sal, a lot of uncertainty here in Week 3. Got a ton of 0-2 teams, got a bunch of backup quarterbacks. How we feel about the slate?
Oh man, it makes it difficult, right, to handicap some of these when you got Romo doing Browning against whoever. It's really a mess here. JJ, I would say over under 14.5 starting quarterbacks around make it to the finish line. It's a miracle through 2.5 weeks. Mine and yours are still standing, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, my quarterback's still standing, but my team is 0-3 and they stink. So that's a story for a different day. They did cover, by the way. We're very happy about that on Thursday. Now, Mr. House, speaking of quarterbacks not being able to play on Sunday, what's the panic meter for you with Mr. Daniels and your C words as we get ready for the slate? Last year, he was one of the bright stars of the league. Are we worried that this injury is now a sign of things to come, or are we kind of chill on this?
Well, I'm going to knock very loudly. You can hear it on the program, I hope, that this is as cautious as it feels, which is to say the Washington Commanders just going ahead and doing the sensible thing. You don't win the Super Bowl in Week 3 of the NFL season, so you go ahead. The guy's not 100%. You go ahead and put in the accomplished backup, and Washington is catching the Raiders at exactly the right time. So this is a game early in the season where it makes sense. Let's just proceed cautiously and let Five get himself 100% right.
Fair enough. Okay, Raheem. A lot of 0-2s. When I was going through the card this week, it felt like there were a lot of opportunities for me to hold my nose, to say this stinks, but I got to take a couple of these 0-2 teams. Is this traditionally something that you find yourself doing in Week 3 where it's like, hey, market's out on these 0-2 teams, perfect time for me to buy?
Without a shadow of a doubt, you have to back these 0-2 teams. Since 2010, 41, 21, and 1, 66% against the spread, and there's now 8 0-2 teams that fit the bill. And one of the 0-2 teams, the Dolphins, actually covers. So you have the Jets, the Texans, the Bears, the Giants, the Saints, the Browns, the Panthers, and the Titans to choose from. Get on some of those dogs, and you might be profitable today.
All right, fellas, let's start hitting this card in Week 3. I think it's the juiciest game, hands down, no questions asked, in the early 1 o'clock window. It's a rematch of a game we saw in the divisional round a year ago. Rams, 3.5-point underdogs, 2-0 on the season, taking on the Super Bowl champs who got by the skin of their teeth against the Dallas Cowboys in Week 1. In Week 2, it wasn't an offensive explosion, but they go into Arrowhead and they go and take down the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe House, because you hit your wise wager with a Los Angeles team a week ago, I am giving you the honors. I am giving you the T-box. And I'm wondering, are you taking an LA team again in Week 3?
JJ, I am not. And I am riding with the Philadelphia Eagles laying the 3.5. I think it's telling that this line was 4.5, and the whole world fell in love with the Rams as dogs. But to me, this is a narratives versus numbers kind of situation. This is one where the best case you can make for the Rams is the revenge case and how close they came to knocking the Eagles out in the playoffs last year. I think if you really go under the hood and take a look at this Rams team in the first 2 weeks, feels a little overrated to me. This offense can't really protect Stafford. They're 23rd in pass rush win rate. This Eagles team with Jalen Carter, so their numbers are a little muddled in terms of their pass rush because he didn't play in the first week against the Cowboys. But they are going to be able to get some pressure. And the thing that the Rams have been successful at thus far this season is explosives. They can get, Devontae Adams out there. with Puka, and they're running play action. Matthew Stafford lined up under center, play action, get those guys down the field. I don't think that's in the cards today. I don't think they can line him up under center, Matthew Stafford, and I think that the Eagles, obviously the offense leaves a lot to be desired. Obviously there's going to be a tush-push penalty, but I like laying the number with the Eagles today. I think it's a big step up in class for the Rams, and I don't think that the cross-country travel is helping them in this situation. Good numbers for sure for McVay and Stafford, but look at this one. 5-9 as road underdogs against the spread, going up against a team 500 or better. I like the Eagles to bring it home today.
Wow. So, House, we're going mano-a-mano right out of the gate in week 1. And I understand how trendy the Rams have become in this particular game. I just think there's a whole lot to like. I think their defense was able to show you a year ago they can get after Jalen Hurts. Newsflash, Jalen Hurts and the Eagle offense is not exactly lighting the world on fire at this particular moment. And you mentioned those Sean McVay trends. He has teams ready to go when they play on the East Coast. I'm getting 3.5 points. It's a revenge spot. I don't love a lot of the dynamics I'm seeing from a new Philadelphia Eagle offense with a new offensive coordinator. And I just look at this matchup and it reeks to me of a field goal game. I'm going to grab the 3.5. I'm going heads up with my guy, Joe House. Lost a heartbreaker with the wise wager last week with the Houston Texans. I can't have Heartbreak City again in week 3. Give me McVay. Give me Stafford. Rams. Now, Raheem, you guys can break the tie on this. Perhaps. Are you getting involved with Rams and Eagles?
Yes, I'm definitely breaking the tie on this one. I'm going with the Rams on the money line, plus 156 as my man's best bet. How many pass plays over 10 yards do you think the Philadelphia Eagles have hit this season? Anybody want to take a guess?
It's
137.
It's 2. The next closest team is 11. So this team is not explosive at all. You're looking at a Philadelphia Eagles offense under Kevin Patullo, which is very reminiscent of what you saw when they changed offensive coordinators the last time with Brian Johnson. So I think this offense is in trouble. And you look at this Philadelphia Eagles team, I'm putting them right now on fraud watch, because if you look at the first 2 games of this season, you had the opposing team about to take the lead and then have a red zone turnover, which led to them winning the game. So to me, I think this is one of the luckiest teams in the league. You look at Jalen Hurts. He's been pressured on 41% of his dropbacks, 29th in the league. And if you go back to that playoff game, Jalen Hurts was sacked 7 times. So I feel like this Rams defense can hold down a worse version of this Philadelphia Eagles offense. Now, if you look at the defense, they only have 2 sacks on the year, and they're 20th in pressure rate. So if you don't pressure Matthew Stafford, he's going to make you pay. My model makes this game Eagles -4, so it's right on market. It's at 3.5 now, but I do think the Rams are live to win this game. Give me the money line. That's my man's best bet.
Wow. So Raheem not siding with House, which is usually par for the course on East Coast bias or the Ringer Sunday pregame. So, Raheem, I got you in my corner, baby. I love it. Sal, you have to weigh in on this. Are you going to make it 50-50? Or are we going to make House the lone wolf in Rams
House
Eagles?
is the lone wolf, and I'm sure he's happy being the lone wolf in this case. I'm not as bold as Raheem taking the money line, but JJ, I'm with you, plus 3.5. What the revenge factor is real for the Rams, and also they're facing the Eagles when they're not clicking offensively. Let's face it, right? And we know somewhere down the road they're going to have like a 2-month stretch where they dominate, but I don't think they're there yet. JJ, that number you were looking for. McVay going to the East Coast, 17-7-2 against the spread.
Good nugget, Sally.
Heading
Good
out
nugget.
east. And like to Raheem's point, as long as Jalen Hurts' average depth of target is just 6 yards, give me points. Give me 3.5 points. Let's keep it going. Maybe they win. Maybe they push you to death eventually in the run game. But I like the points in this situation.
Oh, I got a prop bet for you guys.
Let's hear it, Raheem.
Will they call a false start on the tush push this week?
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yes.
You guys betting on that?
It should be
No, but I'll
offered.
bet
Is it not
yes
available?
if you're asking.
Okay.
That would be a minus number, I think, right? They kind of have to establish it, wouldn't it?
Got to be, right? Like minus 170 or something like that.
I
Nearly,
think so.
you got to lay a
Especially
lot of
try
juice
it 5
on
times.
that one.
Yeah.
Well, the sooner they get rid of that dopey play, the better off we'll all be. By the way,
How
we have
about
a poll.
this? They won't need it if Saquon rushes for over 200 yards like he did both times that they played last year. Just a reminder. Take a look at how teams have fared, these running backs, Nick Chubb and Tony Pollard, thus far against the Rams' run defense. Just take a look and then consider your position. That's all.
How's feeling frisky this morning? I like it. We have a poll on our YouTube channel. Right now, it's about 50-50 as far as the results are concerned. So maybe we'll have some more results as this show continues to proceed. Now, Danny Heifetz, Ringer fantasy football stud. I think he spends time now on Friday on one of the Ringer gambling shows. It's impossible to keep track on who's on what show. If you think I'm doing that, you got another thing coming. I know I'm on Monday and Thursday. That's all I know, and that's good enough for me. And we have this show at 11:30 Eastern.
On Friday. We have
there you go, Sal. I apologize. You know what? Right. I need to learn the schedule. But Danny is joining us and has a guest pick for us. Is it on this Ram-Eagle game, or is he going in a different direction? Let's hear.
Hey, what's up, Ringer Wise guys? I got an offering here for the family. I think they made a mistake this week. I thought the Cowboys were going to be favored by 7.5 over the Bears, and somehow it started as 1.5, and now the Cowboys are only favored by 1.5. I don't understand what I am missing. Like, genuinely, Dallas is second in the NFL in success rate on offense. The Bears are second to last in success rate on offense. I understand Caleb Williams has had flashes and moments, but both these defenses suck. Both these defenses are short on pass rushers, short on cornerbacks, tons of injuries. The difference is we know Dak Prescott is going to be able to move the ball in Chicago. We do not know that Chicago can move the ball on defense, who, by the way, the Cowboys defensive coordinator is Matt Eberflus, who was that coach of the Bears last week. They have like 4 different assistants from last year's Bears team on this Cowboys team. This like incredible motivation game for the Cowboys coaching staff, for these guys who are going to know Caleb Williams and how to get him on the ground. I just think overall, I like the over 50. And I just like the Cowboys to win the game. I understand that Russell Wilson just threw for 454, but I have zero confidence in the Bears to be able to stop Dallas on defense. And I don't know for a fact that Caleb Williams can keep up with Dak. So I love Dallas in this game. And I'm not just saying that to cater to Sal.
So I'd take sides with Danny Heifetz on this game because the Bears stink. We've watched them over the first 2 weeks of the year. Caleb Williams has been incredibly uninspiring. However, Sal, the Cowboys defense sure found a way to make Russell Wilson look like he was turning back the clock, like he was playing for the Seattle Seahawks in 2013 and 2014. I lean Dallas. It's definitely not one of my 5 favorite plays of the week. You are our resident Cowboy fan, at least one of 2. You like the Cowboys here? Or you playing this differently?
Raheem hasn't left us just yet. Maybe it's happening this week, but no. Listen, usually by Sunday 11:40ish a.m. I'm setting up the wake for this team. I don't feel terrible about it, but JJ, if your analysis holds, I have a bet for you. It's on the Ringer specials. It's that both teams score 30 or more points. I'm not sure Ben Johnson is this.
Okay.
It pays plus 610, and Ben Johnson might not be the mastermind everybody wants there. He got beat up a little bit, slapped around. Yeah, that was an embarrassment. I don't think he gets embarrassed again against this defense, this Deron Blandless defense. But they should have their way, much like Russ Wilson, as you mentioned, had his way. I think they score 30. On the other hand, Dak's been impressive, moving the ball. Pickens seems to be paying off so that CeeDee Lamb is going to score. Eventually, he's going to have a couple of touchdowns. I think there's good value. Chicago weather should be fine. Lots of points in the Windy City. Plus 610 that both teams score 30 each. And hopefully Raheem and my team have the lion's share of those points.
So this is interesting for Raheem because he was very bullish on Chicago in the preseason. Obviously, things have changed over the first 2 weeks of the year. And he is another Dallas Cowboy fan. Dream, is this stay away for you, or what's your read on Cowboys and Chicago?
So I'm actually right on market. My model makes this Cowboys -1, and you guys know earlier in the week they were underdogs. They were plus 1.5. But I think the Cowboys win this game, and a big part of that is the Chicago defense. Obviously, you have Jalen Johnson, their top cornerback. He's out indefinitely. You got Kyler Gordon. He's banged up. You got TJ Edwards. He's banged up. You got Grady Jarrett. He's banged up. This whole defense is in the hospital. And I know you could say, oh, the Cowboys defense isn't as good either. But Dak Prescott is a top 5, top 10 quarterback. And I don't know what Caleb Williams is at this point. And if you look at his drive stats, on his first drive, when they have that opening script, he has 130 passer rating, 2 total touchdowns. But when you get through the rest of the game, you get off script, 76 passer rating, 1 interception, 54% completion percentage. I just think over the course of the game, Dak Prescott is going to be better than Caleb Williams. So give me the Dallas Cowboys. If the Bears beat me and Caleb Williams beats me, I'll tip my cap.
House, feelings.
Yeah, JJ, Dream stole all my thunder, all my points supporting Dallas. But look, I think Dallas is America's team again because look at how that line moved. It opened with the Bears laying the 1.5, a normal home field advantage. Then America woke up and was like, wait a minute. This Bears team can't defend the Syracuse Orangemen, JJ. They are the worst defense in the NFL if you exclude turnovers. And the little quiet, underrated play here, Javonte Williams, give that man the football. Look at how efficient he's been the first 2 weeks. That Dallas offense has a multiplicity of options, and I think they're just going to take care of business against the Bears.
All right, seems like the family and the wise guys are united. How about them Cowboys from one JJ to another? All right, let's transition. Sunday Night Football, it will be the team that likes to proclaim themselves as America's team or America's horror story, depending on how you want to look at it. The Kansas City Chiefs laying 5.5 points against Russell Wilson and the Giants, who are incredibly spunky in a spirited effort down in Dallas. It was Wendell Robinson. It was Malik Neighbors. But, yes, it was a Russell Wilson interception late, and Dallas goes and wins the game in overtime. Okay, Sal, feels like Kansas City is going to be the last leg in every money line parlay, in every tease. You know how it is. It's Mahomes, it's Kelsey, it's Andy Reid. Oh, they can't go to 0-3. Whatever we like on Sunday. Hey, you like this game? You like that game? Let's just start with the Chiefs. Are we going to be kind of buyer beware on this, or are you going to say yes? They're not going 0-3. I'm getting in on this. How are you playing Chiefs and Giants?
Not only 0-3, but if you count the Super Bowl, this would be 4 losses in a row. And then we just don't recognize this team, right? If that happens with the Chiefs. But I'm with you, JJ. I think they're going to have to show up. They're going to flex a little on Sunday night, even though they should be flexed. I think Mahomes says this is a cut the crap game. And I like him as a prop to have 3 or more touchdown passes. It pays plus 240. I saw what Dak did to this Giants defense, right? Raheem made the points about how ugly it is and how it's looking even worse going into week 3. So 5 times last year, including the Super Bowl, Mahomes hit for 3 or more touchdowns. I think we see Kelsey celebrate twice. We see Hollywood Brown hit pay dirt. And who knows? Maybe he throws one to himself. 3 or more touchdown passes for Mahomes plus 240.
All right, Sally's feeling a big day for Mr. Mahomes. I decided this is going to be my SGP game, which might surprise a lot of people because you're looking at the Chiefs and the way they've played offensively, and you're like, you actually want to get on board with some SGP props? No, that's exactly what I want to do. However, I think the Giants are going to cover the number. I think this is a classic Kansas City will do just enough to win the game, and it might be by a field goal, it might be by 4, maybe it's a Russell Wilson backdoor cover, but I'm going to take the Giants plus 5.5. I think it will be a heavily involved game plan for Travis Kelsey. We'll take him at 5+ receptions. Kansas City's got to run the football. So Isaiah Pacheco, 30+ rushing yards, like the sound of that. And then from a Giants standpoint, look, Kansas City knows it's going to be the Malik Neighbors show, which means Wendell Robinson can get involved like he did against the Dallas Cowboys. Let's take him at 40+ receiving yards. That SGP, a little under 6-1, fellas. I think it's going to find a way to make it to the ticket window right around 11:30 Eastern. So, Raheem, you know the deal. Chiefs are going to be in everything. Moneyline parlays, teases, this, that, you name it. You scared about this spot for the Chiefs, or you think they take care of business?
So my model actually makes this Chiefs -9. And I probably should be betting the Chiefs, but we all know without Xavier Worthy, without Rashee Rice, you're asking a lot for a team to cover margin. But I do think it does speak volumes that the Giants were catching 6.5 last week. They were catching 6.5 to the Commanders, and you come right back and it's the same line and they're at home. So if I had to lean with the side, I would just lay it with the Chiefs, but you're asking a lot for them to cover margin. So I'm going to stay away.
Here's what I need to know. House, how many last legs of parlays and teases with Kansas City money line do you have pending?
Oh, not that many. Although, of course, the Podfather and I have them in the Ringer 107. They are our final leg to a moneyline parlay with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, if the Chiefs lose this game and go 0-3, it's kind of worth it because the content will be incredible all week long. So that's why we bet it that way.
Well, I'm here for it. All right, boys, let's move to the AFC East and the AFC North, where you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were tremendous offensively in week 1, not so tremendous offensively in week 2, and the defense has stunk over the first 2 games of the season. Traveling to New England, Patriots catching 1.5. They won a thrilling game against my pathetic Dolphins. If you were wondering about Christian Gonzalez, he is not going to be playing for the New England Patriots. You know, Sal, I was thinking all week I was going to be in the New England corner. I don't like where Pittsburgh is at defensively. New England found some positives offensively, but this game just reeks of a stay away. I don't have a feel. I don't have a read. I am not wagering a cent of my hard-earned American dollars on the Steelers and the Patriots. So now I have to ask you if you're going to take your money and say, yeah, this is a game I want to bet.
Listen, you coined the phrase rat line. I think this falls right in there. In that, 2 months from now, we're going to be like, whoa, how are the Steelers a 1.5-point favorite? One way or the other. I don't know how I don't think the books know how to handicap these teams yet. The Steelers with Aaron Rodgers or the new look Patriots. What are we supposed to think about them? Every other week, they're okay. They show up. So I would say this is a stay away for sure, but never, ever stay away from the Steelers special, which is Patriots to win the first half, Steelers to win the game. That pays plus 750. It hit 5 times last year, and it had already hit in week 1 this year. Just keep hitting it. If it doesn't come to you, I promise 2-3 weeks, you'll pay off. Beautiful. So,
Raheem, we included this in our Ringer 107 because we did the show this week with our pal Brian Barrett, who does the Off the Pike podcast, and he made the case. And listen, I'm a team player. So when my teammate comes with a pick, I can't fight him on it. I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to be accepting of it. Now that a couple of days have passed, Raheem, do we feel good about this inclusion that was not ours, or are we like feeling massive hesitation and cold feet?
Well, my motto actually makes this a pick 'em, so I can understand the Patriots pick. This was a game I kind of just wanted to stay away from. I think Pittsburgh Steelers games are always weird. You know, they're a team that you want to take when they're a dog, and they're a team that you want to fade when they're a favorite. So it's just you kind of have to pick your spots with this team. They've always traditionally been a team under Mike Tomlin that wins the turnover margin. But for whatever reason, this Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been downright abysmal this year. I don't know if that's just a sign of things to come, or it's just, a little blip on the radar, but it does feel like that Steelers defense is just getting old.
Defense has been absolutely embarrassing. I mean, you saw what the Jets looked like in week 2. They made that Jet offense look like it was Navy running the triple option in the 1960s, for goodness sakes. Not a good sign for Mike Tomlin and company. House, were you bullied into Patriots for 107? That's what I'm dying to know. Was this like you had no choice in the matter and you got to defer to your guy Simmons, or where are we on this game?
No, I liked it quite a bit, and the underlying analytics that both Barrett and the Podfather tapped into is the ability of this Patriots team to mount a pass rush. They have a pass rush. They have a defensive line, and if they can get after Aaron Rodgers, who is absolutely immobile, one of the most immobile quarterbacks in the entire NFL, then I like the idea of the Patriots with aggressive defense. I did think that Christian Gonzalez was going to play, so it's a bummer that he's not. But offensive game plan wise, I trust Vrabel and McDaniel and Drake May to just avoid TJ Watt and go have their way. So I like the pick.
Okay, boys, let's get to another candidate potentially for game of the week. I can't wait to watch this game. Denver, who's still licking their wounds from a formation penalty on a 60-yard field goal in Indianapolis last week. Not complaining about it. Thankfully, I had the Colts. Sorry in advance, Joe House. But Denver at 1-1, taking on the new darlings of the NFL, Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert. The nerds are drooling over what they're seeing from the Los Angeles Chargers. They're 2-0. They're going to have absolutely no home field support. That will be a home Broncos crowd, despite the fact the game is being played in Los Angeles. The line was at 2.5 basically all week. It is now at 3 on the FanDuel Sportsbook site. Raheem, rumor has it this is a wise wager. So, buddy boy, what's the wise wager?
This is absolutely my wisest wager. We're going to go with the Chargers -3. It was 2.5. I got 2.5. If you can find a 2.5, great. But at FanDuel, it's -3. I think we're going to look back 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks from now and ask ourselves, why were the Chargers only laying 3 to this bad Broncos team? I think people have the story wrong when it comes to this game. A lot of people want to talk about the Broncos defense. Well, it's the Chargers defense, which is the biggest mismatch on the field right now. They are 5th in EPA per play, 3rd in success rate, and 1st in dropback success rate. They are only allowing 15 points per game. And now they get a chance to go up against Bo Nix, who's been absolutely abysmal. 46% success rate. This guy is 2nd in interceptions and 3rd in turnover-worthy throw rate. So I think this Chargers defense, which has been limiting explosive plays and making you dink and dunk it all the way down the field, is going to force a turnover. They're going to cause problems for this Broncos offense. Now, let's look at the other side of the ball. Justin Herbert right now is playing like an MVP candidate. Obviously, you got Josh Allen, you got Lamar Jackson, but Justin Herbert is playing out of his mind. And he played out of his mind against this same Broncos team last year. You look back, he had 577 passing yards, 5 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing, 18 carries for 63 yards in 2 games in which they won 23-16 and 34-27. And that first game, it really wasn't even close. The Chargers were up 23 points before you got 16 backdoor points at the end of the game. So I think the Chargers are going to win this game, and I think they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I think 5 weeks from now, we're going to be saying this line should have been 7.
Fair enough. House, we had a whole lot of Denver Broncos stock going back to the beginning of the year. Over for wins, playoffs. Did you have a division bet? I'm not sure. But what's the feeling? Broncos getting 3 on board, or you sign with Dream?
I mean, shocker. As I was sat down Saturday morning to go through the script and, look at these lines and come up with the best bet, I went right to the Chargers, and Dream was already there. Now, Dream and I were in alignment on the Baltimore Ravens in week 1. I just couldn't touch that mojo after what happened to the Ravens in week 1, so I did not double down. This week. But I do love the Chargers in this spot. I just think they're a different class altogether from the Broncos. The underrated thing that the Chargers bring to the table is their domination on both sides of the ball in the trenches. And, the Khalil Mack injury is kind of a bummer, but Bo Nix on the road has been an abomination. And the thing that has been a revelation for the Chargers, Justin Herbert, when he's healthy, that man will get out and run. I love his over rushing yards prop today. I think it's in the high 20s, low 30s. I absolutely adore that. Justin Herbert, let that man get out there and get running.
I get it, boys. And listen, I understand why you're siding with the Los Angeles Chargers. This is my right line of the week, Sal. This game I want absolutely positively no part of because I feel like the Chargers are just getting a little bit too much love. I did not love what I saw down the stretch from them in Vegas in that game as far as not being able to close it out. And Denver's defense has got to be better than what I saw in week 2 against Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not talking you guys out of it. It's just my right line of the week. I'm staying away from Denver and L.A. Are you on board with this game, Sally?
Yeah, doesn't it seem like Denver pulls the upset and the Chiefs beat the Giants? And then it's like, well, the Chiefs are only a game out of the first place and they still have a home game against the Chargers. I actually think the Chargers will pull it out. I congratulate Raheem for not going 0-3 on his wisest wagers. He's going to go 0-2-1 because now they have to win by exactly 3. You know how this is, Raheem. You know how it is. But Raheem is right. Herbert is just a superstar now. Maybe he was before. 250-plus yards passing. That's what I like for a player prop. He's averaged 286 over his last 6. He's gone over 240 in all those 6 games. He's got 8 pass catchers. He has 3 over 100 yards. McConkey, Quentin Johnson, who was left for dead. And Keenan Allen still got some juice. And Denver's secondary, not as sharp as we maybe wanted it to be coming in. Dimes had over 300 yards. So I like the player prop for Herbert over 250.
All right, Sal feeling a big day for Justin Herbert. Moving on, the Jets, who I took last week. I believe House was on him. I think the entire universe in the Ringer Sunday pregame family and maybe in some Ringer 107 picks took the Jets and realized like 5 minutes into that game against the Buffalo Bills, they had absolutely no chance. Well, we move on to week 3. The Jets are a 6.5-point underdog going into Tampa to take on the Bucs. The Bucs, a dramatic win on Monday night against the Houston Texans. The Jets with a quarterback change. Justin Fields concussed. In comes Tyrod Taylor. Newsflash, Tyrod Taylor can actually complete the forward pass. That actually might be an upgrade for Aaron Glenn and for their new offense. Sal, I can't believe you're doing this. Are you sure you want to do this?
You just said
Final answer. I feel like I'm Regis Philbin on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But I will give it to you. Jets, Buccaneers, this is your wise wager of the week.
Yeah.
Make the case.
I'm not sure I want to do this. Let me talk myself through it and see what happens. But yes, they're plus 6.5 at Tampa. You don't normally want to take the pitiful Jets on the road going through a quarterback change, as you mentioned, JJ. But the odds makers say, hey, there's no difference between Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields. Or they say Tampa Bay has 3 offensive linemen starting who are either not playing or going to be gimpy going in. And I didn't want to fall for that trap where we say an offensive lineman is out, take the other side. But 3 is substantial. And there's something from Action Network. Since 2015 teams have won in weeks 1 and 2 by 3 points or less in both games. They're 4-11 straight up and against the spread in week 3. That's where Tampa starts. It's a short week. I think the Jets come play ball, and it's going to be a close game, 24-21. Look for Ty Taylor and Arian Smith to break out this week.
Tyrod Taylor turning back the clock. Raheem, Jets, Jets.
Yeah, this is my oh my God bet. I'm taking the plus 6.5 and I'm sprinkling a little bit on the money line. Sal hit on the fact that the offensive line is all in the hospital. But beyond that, you look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, they've really gotten by on smoke and mirrors. You know, for 2 consecutive weeks, they have a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. And I'm not buying that can continue with a bad offensive line and the fact that you're missing weapons in terms of your receivers. Also, you look at Baker Mayfield. He has a turnover-worthy throw rate of nearly 7%. At some point in time, people are going to have to start catching these interceptions because they are there. And they're there for the taking. Now, let's look at Tyrod Taylor. He is an upgrade over Justin Fields. You look at him throughout the course of his career. He's 34-21-4, 62% against the spread, and 7-3-1 when catching 7+ points. I know we're at 6.5, but that's basically 7. So what that tells me is that a lot of times when he comes into the game and he's starting, they tend to undervalue him because he's a backup quarterback. And I think you end up catching more points than you should be. And I think in this game, I think the Jets are live. So I'm a back Sal, and I think the Jets have a real shot here.
I hate how much I like the Jets. Can we save this video and acknowledge next week when they are 0-3 taking on my pathetic Dolphins, how silly I am for once again betting on the New York Football Jets. Remember, though, Tampa was in this exact spot a year ago. They were 2-0. They took on the Denver Broncos. House, I want to say they were like a 6.5 or a 7-point favorite.
Good
and
size
Denver
favorite.
won that game outright.
That's
the vibe I'm getting with this particular spot. House, come on, make it 4 for 4 with the Jets. I know you want to.
I won't do it. The problem is, what evidence is there? Irrespective of what's happening on the offensive side of the ball with Tampa, what evidence exists that this Jets defense can stop anybody in the entire NFL? We don't have, I can't count 5 good plays by this defense. And so I like the argument. I like the position. We invested so heavily in the Jets being competitive last week against the Bills. Their defense is deplorable. So I just can't have anything to do with it.
I got to remind everybody, they are 1-1 against the spread. They covered week 1. Obviously, you don't cover against the Buffalo Bills, but I think the Buffalo Bills are a higher caliber team. You're talking about a Super Bowl contender. So, I mean, maybe you might say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are there. I didn't bet the Jets last week, so I don't have any scar tissue. Now, if they can't get it done here, I might not bet the Jets again. But I don't have that scar tissue, so we'll see what happens.
And it's a bad spot. Bad spot for Tampa Bay off the short week with the injuries they have going in, although Ibuka is going to play. Okay, Monday night, boys. Detroit and Baltimore. Really juicy game. Line opened up at 4.5. It might have even been 3.5 in some places. It's now 5.5. We're going to spend a lot more time on this, myself, House, and Raheem, when we do the Ringer Sunday, not the Sunday pregame, but the Monday show, the East Coast Bias. I can't keep track of all the show names and this and that. I'm losing my mind. Sal, this is SGP for you, and I think this is an SGP-worthy game.
Yeah, you know what? This is if you're a football junkie like we are and you just want to sit back and enjoy it and have a little on like a long shot SGP, this is it. Now, that's my plan right now, but after the Chiefs screw me on a money line parlay, or 6 or 7 of them, as you point out, JJ, I may need this to catch up. But for now, Ravens to win the first half, Ravens to win the game, over adjusted 47.5, and Henry 2 or more touchdowns. I think they exert their dominance Monday. They're the better team. Detroit had to whip Chicago. They had to do the Ben Johnson thing, and now they come down back to earth. If they're going to win the first half, they're going to win the game. Over adjusted 47.5. The Lions average 33 points. The Ravens average 40. That should be easy enough. And Derrick Henry, time for him to shine again. He scored 2 touchdowns in week 1 against Buffalo and then nothing against Cleveland last week. So he steps it up. He has 5 multiple touchdown games last year and then 1 already, like I mentioned, this year. Pays over 5-1. Fun way to watch Monday Night Football. Do it.
House and Raheem, we'll save our thoughts for East Coast Bias, where the 3 of us will be together after the Sunday.
I gotta say this.
Oh, yeah.
I think that number is short. That number is short. I think you might want to go grab the Ravens now because
get it now. Okay.
Yeah, look, we all know Lamar Jackson, 24-2 against the NFC. Obviously, he lost the last time he lost against the NFC team was Philadelphia Eagles last year when Justin Tucker was missing all those kicks. But besides that, they tend to dominate the NFC. I think the Baltimore Ravens are on a higher level than the Lions. I think this line probably closes 5 or 6. So I think you need to go grab that now if you do like the Ravens.
Fair enough. We're moving on. Going back to the 1 o'clock slate. A team that lost their quarterback a week ago in Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 2-0. Going up against the team that also lost their starting quarterback. J.J. McCarthy out. Carson Wentz in, and yet Joe House, the Minnesota Vikings laying 3 at home to Cincinnati. You are thinking there might be a dog in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Lakes,
anywhere
but that
you want to
doesn't
put
work.
it,
Twin
doesn't
Cities,
matter.
there we go, we got it. That might be a bargain. Let's bark, House.
Let Cincinnati and Minnesota play anywhere you want, JJ. It's going to be the Bengals every which way. I just am stunned by the behavior of this market and the way that this market regards Carson Wentz. Has anybody watched Carson Wentz play football? Like the argument for Wentz is like he was a backup these last couple of years and he's played in the Week 18 games against other teams' backups. So you can't, disregard Wentz on that basis. How about this? I watched him as a starting quarterback for the Washington football team a half decade ago. He was horrendous. He has blinders. He plays quarterback as though he is literally blind except for tiny peepholes that come out the front of the man's head. He sees nothing. It doesn't matter who his weapons are. Obviously, the Bengals very, very comfortable with Browning as a backup. Browning has a winning record, straight up. Browning averages in his starts 23 points a game. 23 points is going to be plenty. Now, Minnesota will blitz the hell out of Mr. Browning, and there will be turnovers. But I like this Bengals team, the comfort that they have with Browning. Wentz has been with this team for less than 4 weeks, or just about 4 weeks. I don't care about Kevin O'Connell and Carson Wentz. It's Carson Wentz. Did you see Kevin O'Connell with J.J. McCarthy? The guy that looked like he doesn't belong in the NFL for 7 out of 8 quarters. So, I mean, best of luck to the Vikings. They're going to have to win this game on defense. But we have in our pocket Mr. Browning facing a Flores blitzing defense and a win, an overtime win, and an over 300-yard passing game. Like the Bengals, I think that's the right side here.
Yeah, I agree with it, House, because I think you have one of the 5 best backup quarterbacks in the league in Jake Browning. He can make plays still with Jamar Chase and with T. Higgins. The problem I have, Sal, is I look at the 2 coaching staffs, and I think Minnesota has a massive coaching advantage and edge in the game. It's why I will not be betting Cincinnati, Minnesota. If I had to, I would go and take the Bengals. How you playing this game?
Yeah, I'm with you. Browning might be top 3, actually, backups, right? We could take it a step further if we want. And I apologize for the healthy vig here, but I like Browning to throw an interception at minus 168. 3 picks last week, 7 in his previous 5 starts. Brownie's going to brown his pants here. Jason Hargrave gets his big mitts up. Vikings have defenders coming back. I think it's going to be a good spot for them to get a pick. You can get lucky on a pick, too. Tip pass it, not really his fault. But Browning to throw an interception. That doesn't mean that they lose the game, but minus 168, that he's going to turn the ball over.
So I initially liked the Bengals at plus 3.5. I think I gave this out on the Monday show. This is actually interesting. You go back to December 16th, 2023. The Bengals are down 17-3 at home. Jake Browning leads them to a thrilling 27-24 comeback win in overtime. A lot of people don't remember this, but Jake Browning actually played for the Vikings. And he got cut multiple times. So this is like the ultimate revenge motivational spot. Now, the question I have for you guys is that you look at this Vikings team. They get back Christian Darrisaw. They get back Harrison Smith. They get back Andrew Van Ginkel. Yep. So all three are expected to play. How does that impact your perception of this game? Because, you know, there's some sharp bettors out there who might say, you know, those guys changed the calculus of this game.
Well, they do. And that's why I'm scared, and that's why I'm not betting the game. Because I don't want to bet on Carson Wentz, but at the same time, I'm fearful that Minnesota defense can come to play, and we know Brian Flores can go and coach it up. So very, very tough game. House, I'm rooting for you with the man's best bet, though. Let's bring Cincinnati home. Now, fellas, House and Neil will help you. Green Bay and Cleveland. When I was going through the card and I was thinking about SGP potential, this game did not reek of SGP potential. Yet, you have decided, sir, that this is an SGP for you. So explain to me how exactly we are going to do this.
I think the Browns are live. That's the starting point to this game. It's a low total. The Browns very quietly have one of the best defenses in the NFL. You can't tell because Joe Flacco keeps giving the ball to the other team. But here's the thing. The pass rush for Green Bay is absolutely magnificent. So we were playing in this SGP Flacco unders. Flacco under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Flacco under 229.5 passing yards. With those two legs and a game script that to me is going to be lower scoring, then that sets up very nicely for the Browns on an alt spread at greater than 2 scores. I'm playing the Browns getting 10.5 points because I just think there aren't going to be enough possessions. Green Bay is explosive, but this is a step up in class in terms of defense that they're going to be playing. This is the fourth leg is Josh Jacobs under 78.5 rushing yards. He rushed for 83 yards last week, but it was inefficient, 3.7 yards per carry. Josh Jacobs up against this Browns defense. The Browns just held the Baltimore Ravens rush attack to 45 yards on 21 carries. Let me repeat that. The Cleveland Browns held the Baltimore Ravens to 45 yards. So Josh Jacobs under, Flacco unders, and the Browns getting 10.5 on a low-scoring game. That is one that pays off around plus 630. And everybody, if you want a hot hand on a same-game parlay, week 1, winner. Week 2, winner. If you want a same-game parlay to get across the goal line, let's all ride together.
You know what, House? I like the sound of that, and you made your case with rather incredible conviction. Under. Raheem, you like an under in this game, too?
Yeah, I think you got to ride with House. And I'm actually going to play it in a different way. I'm going to take Joe Flacco, longest pass, under 31.5 yards. House already mentioned the ferocious pass rush from the Green Bay Packers. He mentioned the low total. So I don't know if Joe Flacco is going to have enough time to throw the deep ball. And you look at the Packers, they gave up 200 passing yards to the Detroit Lions. They gave up 179 passing yards to the Commanders. So I don't know how Joe Flacco gets over this number on a longest pass unless he throws a Hail Mary or something. So give me the under 31.5 longest pass.
Boys, we have a battle in the AFC South. The Houston Texans are 0-2. They desperately need a win. They're taking on a Jacksonville team that yucked up the game against Cincinnati. You have Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen with some awkward stares. Another weird rat stay away game for me. I didn't want to go anywhere near the Texans and the Jaguars come Sunday. Sal, you have a read on this one. What are we looking at? And maybe an alternate spread is the way you're looking to attack this game?
No. Don't ever accuse me of having a read on anything. Please, this is purely luck and guessing.
Fair enough. Okay. If you say so.
But it is such a lousy game that I want to, and one of these teams is probably going to win the division, but I have to get odds somewhere, right? So I looked at adjusted numbers, plus 300, Jacksonville minus 9.5. Now, this seems crazy because Houston has won 11 of the last 13 in this matchup, and Jacksonville has like basically one blowout a year, and already happened against Carolina. But if you look at these Houston Texans, these stats, 28th in the league for yardage, dead last offense in points score. I think this could be a game where Trevor Lawrence and the Jags lay it on the hapless Houston squad. We get this Travis Hunter involved. We hear his name, 29-16. I'm laying the 9.5, JJ.
Wow, what a story that would be. The Houston Texans, who were the favorites to go and win the AFC South and had high hopes going into this year, staring a potential 0-3 in the face. Now, Sal, you had a little fun on Friday with a former offensive lineman. You never know who you're having fun with. It's Michael Irvin one week. It's Mina Kimes. Who is it this week?
Mark Schlereth. I love everything there is about this guy, except that he's still, goes to bat for the tush push, whatever. We all have our flaws. But I asked him about Protector of the Year. You could bet this on FanDuel. It's a new award. And here are his thoughts.
I could ask about like Rookie of the Year, MVP, but forget all that. I was excited to see that there is now a Protector of the Year award. Did you have something to do with this? This is a brand new award given to the best offensive lineman. I mean, you would have won like 10 of these in a row, right?
You would think. Yeah, I had nothing to do with it, but I love it. I think it's awesome, and I am all about it.
How do you separate these guys? Is there a stat that jumps out at you? Is it going to be the PFF rating? Is it the sack, whoever gives up the fewest sack percentage? Or now we have a different argument, right?
No, all that stuff is garbage.
You just eyeball it like Madden?
Madden, it's the eyeball test. I have my own analytic that I invented. It's called the Boo rating. That's balls over opponent. If your balls are bigger than your opponent's balls, then you get to win on the Boo rating scale. And the thing about Trent that I love watching him, he doesn't care if he misses.
Right.
Like he'll come off the ball, and if he misses, so what? When he comes off the ball, he is trying to shorten your neck. Like he is trying to murder you. And he has zero fear. Like he's just going to come off and try to hunt. And I like guys that play that way, guys that play super physical that way. And anyhow, there's a lot of good ones.
What's his Boo rating? What would you give him for a Boo rating?
Well, it'd be like a Madden thing. He'd get 100.
He'd get 100. And what would someone like me get for a Boo rating?
You would not rate. Yeah, you would be
too high. Too high off the charts or not?
Way off. Yeah, you're way off. You're way off the charts.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
sad.
Like I said, I'm fangirling right now. It's all good.
It's funny when I do these pools or once in a while I'll bet these games and I look at San Francisco. It's like, all right, Purdy's out, Kittle's out. Well, is Trent Williams playing? That's kind of all I really need to know, right? Like until that guy goes out, then we'll talk about San Francisco not making the playoffs yet.
Protector of the Year. Sal, I know you've bet on that. You sick man.
I did. Penny sold.
Oh, you are sick. I mean, come on.
Why? It's the whole offensive line. There's a lot of guys. Come on, JJ.
I suppose. I like betting on a lot of things. That was one that did not exactly catch my fancy. Anyway, let's hit a game that everybody's taking into Survivor this week. It's the New Orleans Saints going into Seattle. They're grabbing 7.5 against the Seahawks team, feeling pretty good about themselves. They were right there in week 1 against the Niners. They go to Pittsburgh and win in week 2. House, should I be fearful of my Seattle Survivor pick this week?
Well, here's the thing. Every year of the past 4 or 5 years, a team that's favored by 7 or more as a favorite has lost outright, and in week 3. And I went through the card, and I just couldn't get there with the Browns. I am riding with the New Orleans Saints on the money line. It's an oh my God play. So this is not a multi-unit play. Take a quarter of a unit, take your beer money, put it on this. But here's the thing. The Saints have been lively. Yes, they've been at home. They had the benefit of playing the Cardinals and the 49ers, both of those games there in New Orleans. But it looks like Spencer Rattler and Kellen Moore have something going. 3 touchdowns last week against San Francisco. The Saints offense looked much better against the San Francisco defense than the Seattle offense did against the same defense. And there are injuries in that Seattle secondary. So I'm not here making a great case for, the Saints coming out and kicking anybody's butt, but I do think it's going to be a close game. And if we're playing basic football variants and a little bit of a trend here, I think New Orleans, with all those skill players, Alvin Kamara is still doing his thing. Olave is there. Rashid Shaheed. I just think that this is a closer game than 7.5 points, so I'm going to grab a little on the money line.
Now, this game reeks of a T spot for you, does it not?
I think you're right. I think you're okay with your eliminator pick. I think you're going to have to watch 20 minutes of this game. Spencer Rattler's still 0-9 as a starter, going on the road here. I mean, look, if he wants to blow up some parlays with the actual spreads in the fourth quarter, a drive when teams aren't paying attention, that's one thing. But to go there, 12th man against Seattle needs this. It's going to be a competitive AFC West. Saints are done. I think this is 30-9. I would take the teaser -1.5 and under 47.5.
So as somebody who did not take Seattle in Survivor, I really, really, really hope they lose, because you got 40 to 50% of entries taking Seattle. Now, me personally, this was one I had to stay away from. I tried to convince JJ to take the Saints in our Ringer 107 because
couldn't do it.
It shocked me, but when I looked at my model actually made the Seahawks 3-point favorites. So at 3, it feels like that's a gigantic edge.
So why are you not betting this game then?
I took it in my own personal contest. I don't necessarily want to bet actual money on it just because I'm concerned about Spencer Rattler going up against a Mike McDonald defense. I'm super scared of that. But when you look at Seattle, ever since Russell Wilson left, they haven't really had a great home field advantage. So I do think you kind of got to hold your nose and take New Orleans with the +7. I might do it, but I just took it in some contests.
Such a stinky, stinky game. Such a stinky, stinky spot. Okay, 2-0, Arizona Cardinals. Probably the most unimpressive 2-0 you're ever going to see. Getting 2.5 against the Niner team that will not have Brock Purdy, that will not have Juwan Jennings. Yet here we are, House. I want to take the Niners in this spot. I had Arizona last week. I'm salty. I'm pissed off. They had no business not covering that game, and then they decided to stop playing football for a quarter and a half against the Carolina Panthers. I don't like getting involved in the Kyler Murray experience, as you know. I think Arizona's been a very fraudulent 2-0. I like the Niners here. Can I get you on board?
Of course, and we're legally required to mention all the injuries in the Cardinals secondary. That's a mandate, week 3 mandate. Cardinals have guys that have never played competitive downs in the NFL starting in their secondary. But this, to me, it's a perfectly fair number, that 1.5 or whatever it's. What are we at? Is it 2 now? Whatever it is. San Francisco at home, Shanahan in his bag against this Cardinals defense. I do think Kyler, if you want to play something with the Cardinals in the first half, that's fine. The Cardinals have been an abomination in the second half of both of their games thus far this season. So I think that the 49ers take care of business at home. This is a very important game for the 49ers. It's for both teams, but especially for the 49ers. They can't lose at home to the Cardinals because this division race is completely up for grabs. I think they take care of business.
Okay. Sal, weird game. Tough game. Can I get you to get in on the Niners with me?
No, because I have Arizona to win the division, and I think there has
so you let your futures dictate what you see in week 3. Interesting.
Why is this 1.5? If 49ers needed more, as everybody says, the defense is depleted for Arizona. They're going on the road. It's a fishy line. Makes you want to take Arizona even more. But more importantly, JJ, there's always a team where you go like, this is the worst 3-0 team of all time. Could it be Arizona? Could that be the discussion on Monday? I think likely.
I know Raheem's rooting for that with that Arizona Cardinal preseason ticket he has across the board. So I get it. Okay. Raiders against Joe House's Washington Commanders. Newsflash, you're not going to see Jaden Daniels in this particular matchup. He's out. It will be Marcus Mariota at quarterback, and that is why I'm looking to the Raiders as my man's best bet. I thought about taking the Jets. There's way too much Jet love, so I'm just going to take my hard-earned American dollars, bet on the Jets, and root for a bounce-back game from Geno Smith and a bounce-back game from a Raider team that, to me, just was mismatched against the Chargers because of what the Chargers brought from a physicality standpoint. I don't think Geno Smith is going to struggle the same way he struggled against the Charger defense. I have not been in love with what I've seen from Washington on the defensive side of the ball. They don't have Jaden Daniels. They lose Austin Eckler, who is a security blanket on those third down throws. House, I know you're not going to like this one, buddy boy, but I got to do it. I'm taking the Raiders outright here.
Yeah, the only pushback I have is that it's a really tough spot for the Raiders coming from home to here in Washington, 1 o'clock start. And they were beat up. They got beat up in that game against the Chargers. Not enough time to really come back from injury. On the other side, Washington with 10 days. Now, both Daniels and Eckler being out is concerning, but I like Mariota quite a bit. I trust him. I think they're going to be able to establish the run against the Raiders, and this will be a knockdown, drag them out. I like the under in this game more than anything, but the Cuz has a nice angle on this that I also support.
Well, speaking of angles, I'm looking at an angle right behind you where a Deebo Samuel jersey fits very nicely, and I think you're gonna. I'll buy it for you if this prop hits. House over 5.5 rushing yards. He's been fun. He's cashed this in 4 of his last 6. He had 19 yards rushing in the opener. But more importantly, the Commanders with the backup, with the quarterback problem with Mariota, they're going to have to get a little fancier, right? Cliff Kingsbury's going to have to scheme things up. It could be Deebo getting carried. He can get between 3 and 4 carries. I think over 5.5 is a pretty good value right now.
Dream, what's the read on this line going from 3.5 to 3 at the last minute?
I got nothing on this game. I'm going to be honest with you.
Is this a rat for you, Raheem, out of curiosity?
I wouldn't say it's a rat. I just don't have anything on it. You got the Raiders coming off a short week. Obviously, this number was 6.5. Jaden Daniels is not playing. You got Marcus Mariota. I just honestly don't have a read on it. And it's just one of those few times to where I think maybe the number is just right.
Sometimes you got to see these backups play, right? We haven't seen Carson Wentz in a while. We haven't seen Marcus Mariota, and it's easy to
we saw him last year, week what?
Yeah,
like 17, 18.
Well, but these guys that are older, when they're off like 6 months, that could be like 6 years, right? So, it's easy to pounce on the other side. But yeah,
also, I don't know what Geno Smith is. Like Geno Smith.
Well, he was awful. I could tell you in week 2.
He on Monday night.
He was terrible.
And there's a part of me that kind of contributes that to the Chargers, but what if it's not?
Yeah.
Well, that's the fear factor for your boy. I'm kind of bouncing and hoping and wishing that Geno is going to be close to the guy he was week 1 when he carved up the New England Patriots secondary, and not the guy who was throwing 5- and 6-yard checkdowns again and again and again against the Charger team that did a great job of tackling. Okay, Raheem, you have nothing on this game, but you do have something for me on the Falcons and the Panthers. The Panthers, one of the worst teams in the league. Atlanta, a very impressive week 2 performance at Minnesota. And this game for you is an SGP special.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an SGP on this game. I'm going to go with the Falcons. I look at this Falcons team. Look, there was a huge adjustment to this line. This went from like 3.5 to 5.5, and I do think it was warranted, but I'm just going to play the money line. Look at the Panthers. They have multiple injuries on the offensive line. Robert Hunt, he's out with the torn biceps. Austin Corbett, he's out with the torn MCL. And we saw how ferocious that pass rush was from the Falcons. 6 sacks and 11 quarterback hits last week. I think that continues here. Also, I like Drake London, over 64.5 receiving yards. We know how awful this Carolina Panthers pass defense is. And then also, I like Bijan Robinson, over 81.5 rushing yards. Carolina surrendering 141 rushing yards per game. So I think Bijan Robinson should get off. I think the Falcons, they should win this game rather easily. I'm not going to fool around with the spread because they did adjust it a ton, but I think that same game parlay should hit.
Division game, Sal. 0-2 team. Grabbing 5.5. Is that like an automatic bet? Just hold your nose and take the 5.5?
It's not automatic, but I was thinking you probably should just blind bet the Panthers second half at +2.5 because they're an uncompetitive squad for the better part of 2 hours. And then they come alive to blow up your money line parlays or your teasers or whatever, or the spreads, right? So thanks for nothing, Bryce. 5.5 should be enough for Carolina. Atlanta looked good Sunday night. This is their second straight road game. But don't forget, they struggle, Atlanta, with the worst Carolina teams. They don't dominate. They lost 3 of their last 5 in this series, so I'll take the points.
Now, how's for you and Simmons? This is a part of a parlay. You don't have Atlanta laying 5.5. You have Atlanta down a money line?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that the Carolina Panthers are the worst team in the entire NFL. I mean, there's some competition from the Saints and some competition from the Browns, but I can point to positive things on both the Saints and the Browns. I can point to nothing with Carolina other than a backdoor cover possibility. I was shocked when you just shared that number about 141 yards on the ground. I thought it was 341. The way they let teams come out and just run all over them, and the way that Atlanta wants to assert itself. Every trend in the world wants you to take the Jets, the Carolina Panthers, and the Tennessee Titans. I will take none of them. And Carolina right here in this situation, all we're asking for is Atlanta to win. They look like that defense is improved, so Atlanta on the money line.
Speaking of the Tennessee Titans, they will host the 2-0 Indianapolis Colts, who have been the feel-good story of the first 2 weeks of the year. Indiana Jones at quarterback. Lou Anarumo reviving the defense. They smoked Miami in week 1. They won a thriller against Denver in week 2. And yet, Sal, I have a feeling what you're doing here. I think we're going to be aligned on this. I think our buddy Anthony Dabbundo is not going to be happy with us. But are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's my man's best bet. I'm taking the Titans here. It's a mangy mutt, JJ. It really is of an underdog pick. I mean, what's the number? They haven't covered at home, the Titans, in like a year and a half, and that's covered. And I'm asking them to win. I'm selling high on Danny Dimes, who, let's face it, was lucky to beat Denver last week. And also, Titans played Denver tough too. So I saw Cam rolling right, throwing that touchdown. I don't know if like 25 quarterbacks in the league can make that. That was a really good throw. This is a good spot for them. Couple trends. The home team has won each of the Colts' last 6 games, and the Colts have lost each of their last 6 road games following a win. Let's say 23-19, Cam Ward gets it done in the Music City.
Raheem, we have the Titans in the Ringer 107. We're not getting 5.5 points. We have to deal with the crummy 4.5 point line. Are you down with this?
So the look ahead line on this game before the season was Titans -1.5. How do you get to 5.5? Well, Daniel Jones plays out of his mind in the first 2 games. I just think it's an overreaction. Week 3 divisional dogs, 49, 28, and 4, 64%. My model makes this closer to a pick'em or Indy -1. So at 5.5, I just have to hold my nose and play this. And I look at Tennessee, first 2 weeks of the season, they play the Broncos and the Rams. They were in it all game against the Broncos, and they were in it for half of the game against the Rams. I have to think that this Colts team isn't up to the level of the Rams, and they can just keep this game close and maybe even steal it outright. So give me the Titans plus 5.5.
So I was with our pal Dabbundo last week with the Colts. It was a fun ride. It was enjoyable. I got the result I desired. I'm riding with you guys in week 3. This is my OMG bet. I'm just holding my nose and taking the Titans. I know they never cover numbers. I know they always find ways to lose. This is just a classic overvalued spot. That's exactly what Indianapolis is. They're everybody's darlings. Now everybody wants to bet them. Everybody's going to throw them in all sorts of teases, parlays, etc. And they're playing their first road game of the season. Let's ride with Cam Ward having a moment here. House, I know I'm breaking your rule because there's a lot of Jets on the card. There's some Saints on the card. There's some Browns on the card. And now there's some Titans on the card. Hey, sometimes you got to just take the stinky off the stinky, House. Got to roll with it.
Every single angle, what history has told us, what history has taught us, suggests that the Tennessee Titans should be the correct side, that you should grab those points. But the one piece of this, and I don't know if it's in anybody's model, they are the worst coached football team in the NFL. And I just cannot recommend anybody taking their hard-earned American dollars and putting them in Callahan's hands. I just can't do it, and I won't do it until we see some semblance of a professional organization in Tennessee. It's just a stay away. It's okay to not bet every single game. Literally every trend says that the Titans are the correct side here. I just won't do it.
Okay, boys, we've hit all the games. Now it's time to get in the kitchen. I've been eating like crazy the last 48 hours. I've eaten like an absolute king. I had the surf and turf yesterday. I had the lobster tails. I had the steak. I had the oysters. It was right up Cousin Sal and Joe House.
You must have had Syracuse money line or something.
I wish I did. No, I only took a plus 17.5 because I'm a coward. But be that as it may, let's get in the kitchen. Week 3, anytime touchdown family meal. All right, Sal. You know, Joe House and I are heads up on our wise wager for the day. You wanted to get on board for an anytime touchdown with a certain quarterback in that game.
Well, we try to go 4 for 4. I feel like one pick is easy every week, and that's why my contribution to the meal is mashed potatoes, because you never have bad mashed potatoes. It's very hard to make bad mashed potatoes. I challenge you to make bad mashed potatoes, and this prop is a winner, like mashed potatoes. Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. He was minus 105 against the Chiefs last week. I'm going to go back to it. It's minus 145. You can't screw this up. 5 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs, 15 regular season games. He scored in 13 of 15. The hideous tush-push rule is still in effect, at least for the rest of the year. So Jalen mashed potatoes Hurts to score a touchdown, minus 145. That's my pick.
All right, Sal with a very chalky anytime touchdown bet. House, you're feeling a little friskier here, giving us a backup running back, but I like it. Make the case.
Yeah, the Falcons have shown us that their rush attack is a two-headed monster. In fact, I lost a fantasy matchup to Danny Heifetz last week because Tyler Algier kept stealing Bijan's touches where they couldn't be stopped on the ground. Falcons offense obviously predicated around the run against this Carolina team. Tyler Algier to punch one in from close. He has 6 touches in the red zone to Bijan's 5, but from inside of 10 yards, he's the primary option. 4 carries to 2 carries. He's got the only touchdown between the two of them. So Tyler Algier plus 240. It's fried alligator. You know what it tastes like? Chicken.
I'm gonna bring some Texas barbecue to the mix. Let's go with Javonte Williams, anytime touchdown, minus 111. I think this is priced way too low. First things first, the total is 50.5. And you have a guy, a running back for the Cowboys, who has a team high 33 carries. And he has 3 touchdowns on the year. So the Cowboys get it inside the 5. He's getting the carries. It's not Miles Sanders who fumbled in week 1. I'm still angry about that. It's Javonte Williams. This guy is the guy, and he's going to be getting all the red zone touches. So I'm going to lay it minus 111. I think in a couple weeks from now, you'll see him in the minus 140, minus 150 range. Hopefully FanDuel's not listening to this so they don't adjust it next week.
They're not.
Let's go with Javonte Williams, anytime touchdown.
All right, Raheem going with one of his Dallas Cowboys. I'm going with a revenge spot touchdown. And first 2 weeks, we've nailed these. Let's try to make it 3 for 3. J.K. Dobbins. I understand that the Los Angeles Chargers defensively have been super stout over the first 2 weeks of the year. But I'm going to buy me a little revenge angle. He was on the Chargers last year. They cast him aside for Najee Harris. I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins, who has scored in the first 2 weeks this year, at plus 164 to go and get you an anytime touchdown. So our 4 anytime touchdown family meal bet. It is Javonte Williams. It is Jalen Hurts. It is Tyler Algier. And it is J.K. Dobbins at a very, very juicy price. Okay, Raheem, we're giving you the early send-off, buddy boy. Enjoy week 3 in the desert. And good luck for our Ringer 107, buddy boy. We need some wins. We need to have a winning record by the end of this week, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still angry over the Houston Texans because had we won that, we would have had a winning record. We would have been in first place, but it's okay. We're going to bounce back this week, hopefully take everybody else into the deep waters and drown them. Y'all have a good day.
I like the sound of that. We'll have Anthony Dabbundo in a matter of moments. Let's take a look.
It's always good to threaten murder before your exit, but yeah.
Yes, thank you. We don't need that. Appreciate it, Sal. Thank you. We want to make sure everybody's in one piece for week 4. Let's take a look at the wise wagers for week 3. Sal holding his nose and taking the Jets plus 6.5.
Yeah.
Raheem, as he says goodbye, is rolling with the Los Angeles Chargers, laying the 3 against Denver. And Joe House and John Jastremski going heads up, mano y mano, man to man. It's Eagles for House at 3.5. I am riding with a whole lot of public bettors, which is frightening. I don't care. I like the Rams. I think it's a great spot for them at plus 3.5. Okay. Dabbundo is with us, and he's so salty because he's 2-0, and he has to let everybody know that he is not allowed to hold the Wise Wager trophy. Dabbundo, sorry, the rules are the rules. You could just keep tweeting your record and gloating and celebrating, doing what you need to do, but you could go 17-0 this week. You're not getting a trophy. Sorry, man.
By the end of the year, the calls from outside pressure will be so great that you guys will have no choice as I go 17-0 or 18-0 betting the same bet every single week.
And you know what will happen here, Dabbundo? If, like, next year we decide that you're eligible for the trophy, you will stink.
17.
Oh, yeah, you'll have the worst year imaginable.
Well, it's different mindset. The pressure's off me right now.
That's it.
Because
you can come in freewheeling, you're like playing an extended garbage time.
Right. I won't post my record if it's not good, and nobody's holding me accountable for it. But if it is good, you guys are going to hear about it.
Fair enough. Before we get to your wise wager, Dabbundo, how about the alma mater of Syracuse outright against Clemson? I know Angeli's going to miss a couple of weeks. Were you feeling frisky enough to take them on the money line yesterday?
I took them second half money line when the line came out for the second half, and I'm like, oh, Clemson's minus 8.5 for the second half. Like, did we watch the same first half? Market was just like, oh, they're just going to come back. I was like, okay, we'll see about that. They were 3-1 on the second half money line, so that cashed with ease. Shout out to the Orange. Shout out to Fran Brown. Winners get washed, and I took a beautiful shower last night to celebrate the win.
Oh, good for you. You know, Sal, it would be nice if I could have the same energy with my alma mater that I have Sunday with my football team. Here's the best part about this week 3. Yeah. I do not have to subject myself to 3.5 hours of torture watching the Dolphins. At least there's that.
Yeah, that's how I felt with the Cowboys-Eagles. Like, get it out of the way. I'll enjoy the first Sunday slate. And, the good thing is there's more to agonize about. If you look at what do we have? The bundle 9 early games? They stuck us with 9 1 p.m.
See,
kickoffs?
you guys, not you, Dabbundo. I like more variety. But, Sal, you specifically hate this because you're out on the West Coast. So you don't like when there's 8 or 9 at 10 o'clock in the morning and you don't know what to do. You want more of a balance.
I'm awake, but it's all the same crap team, right? It's all the South teams play. AFC and NFC South, they load us up with these garbage matchups for the early, but whatever. We'll do.
Most of my high leverage bets for the week are in the 4 o'clock slate. So I'm kind of like, feet up. I have a couple bets at 1 o'clock, but most of my action's late this week. So I'm kind of not sure what I'm going to do with myself for 3 hours. I got to figure out, like, I'm going to be at a watch party for Eagles Rams and not on the Eagles. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, you're with me on that. Oh, good. I like that.
I'm on the under.
Oh, okay. Just playing a total. Oh, you're no fun at a party. You come to a party and bet the under. My goodness.
I root for good defense, lots of tush pushes, maybe a false start on the tush push this week. I root for the Rams to have a bad red zone offense because they can't run it in short yardage. Rams, I've been mimicking the cadence of Jalen Hurts to try to throw him off on the tush push, maybe. So there's all kinds of.
He's a soccer fan. He roots for no points, no scoring. If there's a long bomb, he doesn't know what to do. His head spins off. It's
I was thinking of Dabbundo this morning because I'm doing the Peloton before the show, and one of my neighbors is in a gym and he's dialed into the Premier League, and I'm like, these suckers do this every Saturday and Sunday. I mean, my goodness, God bless you, Dabbundo.
Was he watching Villa Sunderland go under 2.5?
No, I guess so. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it might as well be a foreign language for me. And this is coming from a guy who has soccer running in his family. I didn't get the gene. Anyway, Dabbundo, we need winners out of you. You're hot. Wise wager. Let's make it 3-0. What's the play?
Under in a Texans game, JJ. This is what I do. I come in, I tell you why the Texans offense stinks every week. We bet money against the Texans offense. We usually make money. I like under 43.5 Texans-Jaguars, minus 105. This total has kind of bounced around between 44.5, 43.5, back and forth all week. Really, it comes down to, for me, I think the Texans' offensive line issues are irreparable based on the personnel. the guys they're pulling off practice squads, they're pulling off other teams' practice squads, trying to just plug and play, see if anybody can do the job. And they haven't been able to run the ball at all through 2 weeks. I mean, the only run they've broken may have been intentional. If I went back and watched, I think the Bucs let them score last week to prevent them from running out the clock. And so they haven't been able to run the ball. They have one receiver who's capable. The other guys are all rookies or unproven. Kirk comes back this week. Maybe that makes a difference. A real Kirk revenge game, Christian Kirk. But I'm gonna have to. They're gonna have to prove it to me. I'm gonna have to see it before I believe it. And on the other side, I mean, what have we seen from the Jacksonville offense? Yes, they won against the Panthers. They scored points against the Bengals, but those are two of the worst defenses in the league. They're not in sync. Lawrence and Thomas, not in sync. There's the injury questions, and now they're playing what I think is the best defense in the league. So classic pass rushes dominate. Quarterbacks are seeing ghosts. This game goes under.
No wonder why Dabbundo is 2-0 with the Wise Wagers house. He keeps throwing unders out there. We're not allowed to do such things. You know what I mean? Dabbundo's got that built-in advantage, house.
No, I think we are allowed. I mean, I looked at some team totals. I
guys
considered some exotics.
I'm confusing rules. Sorry, there's a lot of competitions going on.
It's so early in the season. Let's just give the people, we're trying to help everybody. We don't have to get too crazy. I think the under in that game is on the money. Dabbundo made the case. I already bet the Texans under 21.5 team total. Let's just let them show us one time that they can score 20 points in an NFL game.
Right. And honestly, JJ, you're on to me because my week 1 best bet was Texans-Rams under. My week 2 best bet was Texans-Bucs under. And here we are. I'm not going to change the model.
So
my
model for consistency. Like if you're feeling it, hit the streak. You wear the same socks. You do what you do. Same meal. I'm all for any positive superstition you can find. Okay, your OMG bet I absolutely adore. I actually just bet it 20 seconds ago because I just took a peek on what it is. I like the game, and I think your angle is perfect. Explain to everybody, Mr. Dabbundo, what the OMG bet for week 3 may be.
OMG, I'm laying an alternate spread with Mac Jones. That's 49ers minus 9.5 plus 300. Yeah, I do too. I mean, I think it's really hard to price Arizona. Yes, we didn't like what they did the first 2 weeks. We think they're kind of fraudulent. They scraped by against 2 bad teams, Carolina and New Orleans. Now they go on the road in the division, up in class against a much better Niners offense. But what does it mean to not have Garrett Williams and Will Johnson? And Max Melton is questionable, but he was limited in practice all week. I would be surprised if he played. Also, Paris Johnson, their best O-lineman, the guy they'd want to block Bosa, he's going to be limited here. He's questionable as well. So they've got a bunch of guys on both sides of the ball that are on the report or out. So I think this is a huge, even with the Niners not having their quarterback, I think Brock Purdy is much more replaceable than potentially 5 cornerbacks for Arizona. So I think this is Arizona gets behind. Arizona has to start forcing the ball down the field. We see this Niners defense really see what they have to offer because I've been impressed by them through 2 weeks. And I think, they get margin here and win going away, a couple scores.
It's interesting, Sal. I have Arizona as an over from the beginning of the year. I have them to make the playoffs. They're 2-0, and yet, I don't feel good about them. It's a very weird predicament. I understand you made the point earlier. Hey, they could be the 3-0 team where you're like, WTF? How are they the 3-0 team?
Right.
The more I watch Kyler Murray, the more I'm just like, not it. That's just how I feel.
I'm with you. There's no positive Arizona talk. Why is this 1.5? Why is this is Kyler Murray a
Mac Jones
6-point advantage over Mac Jones? I don't know why with all these injuries and everything else and San Francisco home. The adjusted line is interesting because you're getting odds on everything, but it's the starting point. The 1.5, this tic-tac line where the team that's really fallen to injury is only plus 1.5. It really stuns me here.
There was some money on Arizona on the board this morning too. It was 2.5. It got bet down, so be my guess. Say everybody who's betting the busiest thing on the screen this morning, by the way, everybody on the sharp, or maybe it's square or not, everybody loves Indy. They're out to 5.5. They hit 6 at one book.
Yeah.
The Colts, the Titans injury report is rough.
Yeah, are you surprised that line has gotten as high as it's gotten, Dabbundo? It is your team?
I'm not. I'm really not. I get the whole idea of the Titans in this spot, but at some point this guy's got to cover an NFL game or two.
But the coach
he
is
hasn't-
horrible. Is
Right.
Hans, you have him as the worst coach in the league. I agree.
Oh, it's not even. There's nobody else really in consideration compared to this guy. Him not knowing the basic rules, him getting the game mismanagement is incredible. And, how about this? I don't give Tennessee credit for the cover they had in week 1 because that number went so crazy. It was 7 and 7.5 for most of the summer. The Broncos laying 7 or 7.5 in week 1 at home against the rookie quarterback. They covered both of those numbers. They didn't cover the 8 or the 8.5 that got, when everybody woke up on Sunday morning and the number went through the roof. I mean, the Titans, you can't bet them.
I mean, they got like 3 turnovers from Bo Nix and still landed on the number.
Can we just
and Sean Payton turned down a field goal that they could have covered with. He was like, "Nah, we're good. We'll pass."
As long as we're talking about coaches and Sean Payton and the Titans having the worst coach, can we calm down a little bit with Shane Steichen? I know he's the favorite to win Coach of the Year at 5-1, and if the Colts win 11, 12 games, he's going to get it. But he also made some mistakes too. He didn't do his kicker any favors with that 60-yarder.
True.
Very, very conservative. That would have been the story had there not been a leverage call. What the hell is that to end that game?
Hey, Sean Payton said it was the right call. Just saying, Sal.
I
Said
know.
it was the right
It's
call.
talking
I was
nonsense.
MF and Steichen in my living room last week. The whole final drive. What the F is this guy doing? He's an idiot. He's coaching like he has prime Brandon Aubrey when he's got this kid who's never kicked more than 3 games in his career. I mean, he got away with it.
He the 2 previous years had a significant handshake, Steichen, in the Colts missing the playoffs, because of a play call at the end 2 years ago.
That's right, in that Texan game. Good call, House.
and then they're 8-9.
The guy dropped the ball, House.
It wasn't an easy throw and it wasn't an easy catch. What do you want me to say?
It was
I didn't like the
swing
play call.
pass.
I don't think it wasn't a perfect pass, was it? He would have caught it if it had been.
But he's not the quarterback.
Here's the thing. I think Steichen with Daniel Jones is a thing. That's a real thing. He understood who Jones is. They conceived an offense. This is why, Steichen's going to be an amazing offensive coordinator when eventually he's back in that role in the NFL, which is where he belongs. But
I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah.
I love them today. I let the Titans prove us wrong. What has anybody seen from the Titans that demonstrates their capacity to prove us wrong?
Zeitler and Latham
That's where you're betting
both
on.
out. Both linemen.
Having a moment. You're betting on the quarterback.
Okay.
They didn't have him last year. You're betting on him in this particular spot. Okay, Dabbundo, you got a man's best bet that I think is going to be music to the ears of one of the 3 of us. What is that particular game?
Yeah, Jake Browning and the Browning Bengals. What can Brown do for you? I like the Bengals here. I mean, look, this game is probably the most interesting gambling game on the board this week. I said that with Heifetz on Friday because there's just so much different uncertainty. And for us, uncertainty creates fun and having opinions. Like, I could come on here and tell you that I like the Rams, I like the Eagles, but we kind of know what both of those teams are. They're pretty defined in their power ratings, and the market's pretty aware of like what the Rams are and what the Eagles are. I don't think the market can possibly have a strong opinion on what to do with Carson Wentz, on what to do with Jake Browning, on how much does having Darisaw matter for Minnesota, how much does it matter that Van Ginkel is back for Minnesota's defense because he's so important to what they do. So this is the kind of game where I want to be convicted in something. And I'm convicted that the Bengals offense can still be very good with Jake Browning running the show. Because we've seen it now. And like, he might make a mistake or two.
I guess the only concern is turnovers.
Yes.
Going up against the Brian Flores defense. If I had to bet the game, Dabbundo, I'm not betting this game. I have no desire to bet this game. I would side with you guys. If life on the line, you have to make a pick, I would take Cincinnati because of Browning and Chase and Higgins, and I get to fade Carson Wentz. That Minnesota coaching staff, though, that to me is the equalizer in this matchup, Dabbundo, because they're, to me, vastly superior to the Cincinnati coaching staff.
I agree. I have not actually been all that impressed with Minnesota's defense, though. Again, with the injuries being what they are, but just having Chase and Higgins on the field and having, to his credit, I don't think we're Zach Taylor fans, but the offense does move and flow well. They run their play actions. They get the ball out of Browning's hands too on the quicker game. They're not as efficient because Burrow is so accurate down the field, but they make it work. They get the ball into their playmakers' hands, and I don't really love this Minnesota secondary. I have questions about their corners. They lost Bynum from the offseason. He seems like a big loss for them. So I still think they can be had a little bit. So let's see. Let's see what Mr. Wentz has as well on the other side. Because, like House said earlier, I don't know.
Justin Jefferson's pretty good too, Dabbundo. Look up that name. Look up that name. It's Justin and then Jefferson, like the president.
Jefferson.
But,
so it's hard to find him in the stats, because he hasn't been anywhere. I mean, we're ready. We're gonna keep up this. Kevin O'Connell is superior. Like the Vikings offense has been awful, deplorable, horrendous.
McCarthy,
Yeah, because they chose that guy. And look, man, the preseason story was that guy was sitting in coach's office. They had a 1 hour meeting every week to coach that boy up. I mean, what evidence is there that kid can play quarterback in the NFL?
Should have been 2 hours.
Right. One 14-minute stretch of football.
Who would you make better, House? The Vikings with McCarthy or the Vikings with Wentz?
The Vikings with Darnold is the correct goddamn answer. They should be a team that's trying to run back a 14-win season.
Oh, but they weren't winning 14 games with Darnold as their quarterback this year, though, Haas. No way.
Tell me why.
Because the book was going to be out on Darnold. Just like it will be in Seattle.
He could throw the football down the football field.
You're that Alan McCarthy after 2 weeks?
Oh my God, he can't play quarterback in the NFL. Yes,
wow. House is out. He's out.
I'm out too.
Out on JJ.
He could get better. I'm just telling you what we've seen. He's not ready yet. He can't.
Small
play.
sample size. I get it. Small
He
sample
was
size.
overmatched out there, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Listen,
Snap
I had Atlanta last
levels.
week. It was a terrible spot for him. He was not ready.
Listen, JJ closed his laptop. It's very subtle, but I think that means he wants to get out of here. He
No,
closed
that's
it,
actually
then
not true. I want to
reopened
take a look at the Ringer 107 before we do.
JJ's
So that was
Uber
actually
is
me having a
leaving
little
in 4
phone on my
minutes,
laptop.
because-
No, Sal, I am not a subtle guy. I'm very obvious. What I do is obvious and apparent, and everybody knows. Do we have the Ringer 107? Here we go. So Dabbundo and Sal, you guys ended up taking the Rams.
Oh, yeah. Wait, that was
All
my
right.
pick, right, Dabbundo? Yeah.
It was your pick.
Yeah.
What were your picks, Sal? That and the Jets?
I had the Rams and the Jets. Dabbundo had the three bagger to this week.
By the way, do not look at the popular contest in Las Vegas and
That's
what
all
the
of
most
our
popular
picks.
picks are, because we have.
Oh,
I
they
think,
did.
three of them.
I saw it, Dabbundo. It's what? Chargers, Rams, and there's another. Dallas. I think Dallas is the other one, right?
Yeah, we're on all three of those.
It's all
But
right.
when you say the popular in the Vegas contest, how many of those people are like legitimate gamblers compared to like the Joe Schmoes that are betting? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, there's a little sharper edge there, I would say. But yeah, listen, the masses aren't always asses. We could actually come through here, Dabbundo.
Yeah, come on, let's go. A little positivity before we say
my
goodbye.
three this week. I say that after going 0-2 last week. Screw you, Cardinals. But I love
Cardinals,
our three.
disgusting. We were all on that. Disgusting. We deserve so much better. Fellas, week 3's in the books, at least as far as our show is concerned. We have a lot of football to watch. Sal, you will be rocking with Simmons later on this evening.
Yeah.
Dabbundo, you got a couple of shows coming up this week. House, I will see you Monday with Raheem for East Coast Bias. Good job by Jack and the crew. Stefan here in New York. The wise guys are out. Enjoy the football. Be good, everybody.